right. Welcome to the Ware School Committee for Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing on the agenda is approval of warrants and payroll for Wednesday, June 18th. We have a motion.
I move that we approve the warrants and payroll for Wednesday, June 18th.
Do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Approval of minutes for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, regular business meeting. We have a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025 as a regular business meeting.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
And Mel?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, policy subcommittee meeting. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion to approve Wednesday, June 4th, 2025's policy subcommittee meeting minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Minutes for Monday, June 9th, 2025, executive session. We have a motion.
Make the motion to approve the minutes for Wednesday, Monday, June 9th, 2025 executive session.
I'll second. All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Abstain.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Yes, except for where my name is spelled wrong again.
Did I catch it?
Yeah, it's in a couple spots.
Well,
Now we'll have Andy with a budget update.
Good evening. You have in your packets the update as of the 16th. The 2 weeks left to the end of the fiscal year. We're winding everything down. Knock on wood. And we got like another month or so of closing out activities that we do with the town as far as running off, last few warrants for any outstanding invoices, projecting out and finalizing summer payrolls. But we are trending favorably regarding, if you look at our projections to what it is that we're going to be able to carry over into next year to use for FY26. As has been the practice in our past, we charge everything to the local budget first, and then we'll do year-end reclassification of expenses once we do our final reconciliation with the town accountant. So I can answer any questions you might have, but, as I knock on wood, things are trending favorably.
Any questions?
no, not at all.
I do have a question on something else.
Yes.
I think there was a meeting that dealt with, we had talked about some positions when we had the public meeting, as far as funding those, and I don't know if we ever did that or didn't, or...
So and we also, it's a process even internally at central office we're doing. I know Katie met with each of the building administrators and Dr. Coleman to review staffing and stuff, and so my mantra to them has been, and I know from the public hearing and afterwards there have been some discussions about adding positions, but as of right now, our FY26 budget was and is a level service budget. So any of these new positions that have been potentially discussed, the funding is going to have to come from somewhere. Now, as I do say, come July 1, we rebuild this budget from scratch anyways, because we will have personnel changes as normally occurs. We'll know more information about grants and, again, as what we're carrying over. But as of, my message to the administrators were, and then, I understand, let's say, promises and or changes were made, whether based on, the public hearing and other things that came to light regarding changes they felt that were needed at the various schools. I'll say we will honor those as best we can, and I say we will be able to, it will just mean, quite honestly, that when we do our rebuild of the budget, there might be some reductions elsewhere to either make it balance and/or we end up using more of our reserves. I don't know if that's answered your question, so I would say, funding sources yet to be determined, but the possible sources would be the realignment that occurs as normally does at this time of year, and/or the potential use of more reserves than we planned on.
So basically, we have to figure out what was discussed as far as the
I
positions in
believe
the
we have
meeting.
that. I do believe that there have been, the discussions that occurred. It's just a matter of, admittedly, I say this year was I don't say challenging, but we've seen more personnel changes this year than I'd say we have in the past. So it's just mapping those, because we've had between people leaving, between shifting positions, creating new positions that were once a position elsewhere or called something else, So it's just a matter of mapping those out. And admittedly, it's not as easy as it sounds. And I don't even know if that sounds easy, quite honestly, but it's something that we are working with. I know
Okay.
Judy and I, and Katie's got a running list of the ins and outs of the positions and everything. It's just a matter of marrying, I'll call it what we call like a personnel control ledger. It's marrying that ledger with what was actually in the budget.
Because I know they were working on posting, so.
Correct.
That's why I was curious about it.
Right.
But I recall, I recall asking all established positions that were vacant, all of the funding is in place for those.
Correct.
So if we're missing a music teacher, the funding is all there because that space is there, it's just empty.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right. So, and those positions were in the budget when we built it, so you're absolutely right. If they just happen to be vacant, the funding source is still there. It's just, I know there are some discussions of
Creating
either
new ones.
restoring a position that was cut and/or changing of things and/or, let's say, new positions. It's just a matter of capturing those from what it is that we got approval at town meeting at to, where it is now. So in a sense, it sounds like I'm going to say we're beyond the level service budget where we've had some level service plus adjustments. It's just now capturing those adjustments.
Got it.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your work on this.
I know we still need to meet. I was waiting for a response from somebody that we didn't get, so.
Yeah, you. I replied. You didn't reply.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry, Andy.
Summertime it might be easier to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
New business. I put on here cell phone use, I'll talk together on them. Cell phone use and dress code. There's been some emails that have come out about cell phone use and dress code. And so I polled our policies and what's in the handbook. My intent is not to get too deep into this tonight, but that way everybody has this, they can look at it. I seem to remember in the past, especially with dress code, it being a lot more detailed. I know we had a discussion for a long time, this is years ago, about the height of girls' skirts
Yeah.
above the knee. And so, it's, from what I can see, it's pretty well cut to the bone and doesn't say too much about dress code. These were all of them I could find in the handbook, and then, of course, we just have a student dress code, JICA, which is very short. And so, don't know if we want to expand on that, or how we, if there are any thoughts on allowing the schools to expand on it and come back to us. But I just thought I would put that out there, provide the paperwork so that it would make it easier rather than searching through everything we have. And I'm not, and that goes for cell phone use, because I think we've all heard complaints, cell phone use in classes, cell phone uses, and, how do we want to enforce it? Do we have a good enough policy to enforce? So if we sort of,
Can I ask when this was written? Like what year? Yeah, like the cell phone and the dress code, like when, it was last updated a long time ago, my understanding.
Was
How come this-
updated in 2022?
the policy would have been 22, because I believe it's in here. It's
Okay.
right there. But
Was-
as far as the handbook, usually they came to us every year. I'm not quite sure. It's been a few years probably, as far as the
We
handbook.
approved a handbook last year.
But like, was
But-
the
We
wording
approve the handbook every
changed?
year?
We
Like, I
do,
guess-
but I don't know
I
if
guess
they
I'm
brought
asking
to
when
us
this wording-
any changes, or if they had concerns. It was a few years ago that we did look at cell phone use,
Okay.
because we were discussing as far as being able to use it in class. That was one discussion that was had,
Right.
to do research for mainly AP classes, I believe it was. And so
Were laptops not issued to students at that time?
I want to say it was before COVID, and then at that point, COVID came along, we did the Chromebooks, and so I think that became sort of obsolete, that you had to use the cell phone.
Yeah, that should
So that
absolutely
is
be.
probably 2020, 2021 maybe?
Right,
was
so
when it
if
was
students have
probably
been
looked at.
issued laptops, there's no reason to use a cell phone
Correct,
in class for classroom purposes.
correct. I guess the next point would be when, where do we want to allow it, if we do at all?
Right, so there's like a continuum, right? So there's all the way on this side, which is willy-nilly cell phone use whenever, and teachers do not feel empowered to tell students to put them away, and they're just everywhere, which, from what I observe, that is our current policy. And then you've got all the way on the other hand, which is where Rhode Island is headed, which is all cell phones are banned in schools. Like, you're not allowed to have them at all. Like, that's where Rhode Island, I think they're voting this week on that. And then in the middle, you've got like a continuum. My sister-in-law teaches at East Providence High School. Their policy is students can use them in passing and at lunch and things like that. But when they enter the classroom, they have one of those plastic shoe holder things. Kids put their phone on silent. They don't have to turn it off. It has to be facing the wall, so they are not seeing the screen light up. And they just drop it in the little slot, has a number on it. You know, student number 12 drops their cell phone in. It sits there the whole time during class, in plain view. No one is touching them. They're not hidden in bags, and they're right up there for everybody to see. And then the teachers just adjusted their schedule to where, 2 minutes before the bell rings, students are able to retrieve their phones. There's not just a mad dash to try to get to the next class. So there are many options on what we can do with cell phones. I think it comes down to having honest conversations, because I understand that parents want access to their students. I understand that students obviously want access to their devices. I understand that cell phones have played large roles in, heaven forbid, school shooting incidences. So I understand that this is a very complex issue. I understand there are very, very many layers to it. Where I fall down on it, where I kind of land in all of this, is students are in school to learn, and cell phones, in my opinion, are a distraction from that learning. So I feel like there needs to be a strong policy in place where that learning can take place without the distraction of the cell phone. So I understand we're not going to resolve that here, but I just wanted to state for the record that right now the cell phone use, especially in the high school, is not under control, and that it needs to be. It might be written on paper that they're off and away or whatever, but that is not the reality.
So we go that route. We need to figure out a way to, the shoe rack or whatever it is, to come up with a means to also enforce it.
So enforcement is key. Unfortunately, that falls on administration, right? So if teachers are given a tool to report inappropriate cell phone use, whether it's a Microsoft form that everybody has access to, and when they submit it, it automatically goes to the email of specific administrators. But if there's no follow-up, then those teachers are going to stop filling out those forms because they know that it's going nowhere. So if we don't have buy-in from administration, then the teachers, they're not going to waste their time reporting something that's not going to go anywhere. Teachers have many other things to do. But if this policy is strong and they know it will be enforced, they know that putting in the time for those forms is going to pay off down the road because they're going to have the attention of their students back.
So for the next step, any other comments? So for the next step, should we want to make this a public hearing?
Yes,
Get the
I
input
would love to hear the
administrative
community
and
input
also
on
parents and
this.
also the teachers as well.
Teachers, parents, students, I want to hear everybody's thoughts because as I said, it's a continuum. We
Because
don't have
everybody
to
has to buy
land.
into it.
Yeah, we don't have to land hard on one side or hard on the other side. If we land somewhere in the middle and teachers feel like they can teach and students feel like they can learn, I feel like it's a win for everybody.
Want to do it for the next meeting?
Are we
Or
going to
is
get?
summer kind of tough?
Summer's tough, but I mean, we want it in place for next school year. We don't want to be up against,
Yeah, we'll be in September otherwise.
yeah.
And,
So yeah, let's give it a shot.
okay.
Let's see what we come up with.
As far as dress code, we can talk about that at some point, maybe the next meeting if we want.
Well, I have some thoughts on that too, but I don't want to dominate the meeting. So if somebody else wants to say something, they can, but I do want to say something on that.
Well, why don't we make it a two-part public hearing? Because we probably want input from teachers, administrators, and parents,
And students.
and students to find out
What they think.
what they think. So that no insults, but the 70, 80, and 90-year-olds aren't making the rules as far as kids are concerned. 'Cause that's probably what they think of because we're adults and we're older, and
Right.
so that we get everybody's input and come up with something that's workable and come up with something that's probably a little more responsive and a little more responsible, which isn't.
So I'm glad you brought up.
3 small paragraphs and probably 6 sentences?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought up the skirt thing because for anybody that went to school in the 90s or 80s or before that, dress codes were mostly targeted at girls. It was mostly your skirt is too short, you're showing too much cleavage, you can't show your shoulders, like all of this, but very little of it was targeted toward boys, which is why 90% of school districts went to a very generic message like this, which is better, I guess. But where we are not stepping up on this is protecting students from, I don't know, shirts with racist or sexist or shirts that have messages about drug use or alcohol use. Like nowhere in
Generally
here,
abusive language.
yeah, generally abusive or demeaning language on a T-shirt or on a hat should not be allowed. Hats is another issue. Are hats allowed? Are hats not? When are hats allowed? Then you've got the whole hoodie thing. With every school struggles with the hoodie thing. You can wear a hoodie, but you can't wear the hood up. I feel like that should be addressed. And then, I mean, I'm going to sound like an old fuddy-duddy when I say this, and I don't mean to, but it is a problem everywhere, not just in where. Like 60% of the students in high schools across the country, including this one, are showing up to school in their pajama pants. I'm going to sound like an old fuddy-duddy here, but I feel like you shouldn't be showing up to school in your pajama pants. if we are going to say out of one side of our mouth that we have high academic standards and we are preparing these students for college and career, if we're going to say that in one breath, and then in the next breath be like, hey, here you are in your socks and pajama pants, and we're going to prepare you for the world in your pajama pants. And it does say here, it says, this does not mean that student, faculty, or parent groups cannot recommend appropriate dress codes for school. I mean, I understand that dress codes are terribly hard to enforce, and I understand that you would rather have kids in school in their pajama pants than not in school. I understand that side of it as well. But at the same time, if we are trying to move forward in this school district in a new light and try to rebuild the damage, if you will, that has been done in the last couple of years, and students not wanting to come to our schools or feeling unwelcome in our schools, I feel like if we could make this a more professional place, a place of learning, a place of high expectations, I feel that dress code is a small piece of that should be addressed.
Especially when you're dealing with, say, t-shirts or hats or whatever that have a racist tone or demeaning tones and anything like that. Or drug use or whatever. That should not be a part of any school. Because that sets the tone. Kids see it, they read it.
Right.
And
but again, you've got to have the buy-in of the community.
Yes.
Because if 80% of this community thinks it's appropriate for kids to wear pajama pants to school, then I'm just going to have to get behind it. But, because I can't control what people put on their kids. That's their thing. But if we send a message that, we are a serious place of learning. Your students are not coming to this school merely to exist for the 7 hours that they are within these walls. Like, something is supposed to be happening here. And it's not just, I go to this room and look at my phone, and then I go to this room and look at my phone in my pajama pants, and then I go to this room and look at my phone in my pajama pants. Something should be happening.
I think a public hearing would be the way to go.
So that's what we'll do, both
Like you guys
subjects.
said, get the
That way,
community's
we got
buy-in.
everybody in the room. We can get opinions on both subjects.
And then those individuals who can't make it to our public hearing, we have SC comments, right? They can
We have emails.
can
and-
email SC comments at where K12MAUS, and everybody will get your email if you can't be here.
And everybody can chime in.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's students, parents, grandparents, teachers, anybody,
Administrators,
administrators,
come on in.
can all chime in. Because if I remember right, we were a little more harsh on this than what it is in here. Maybe the cell phone's been a while since we talked about it, but when it came to dress code, I seem to think that, I know there was the dress lane, because that was a big debate one night, so that's why I remember it. But I know we also talked about having t-shirts that didn't have logos on drugs or drinking and that type of thing, and I don't see it in here. I don't know if it's been cut over the years or things were loosened up to coming back from COVID, but I seem to think that it was a lot more stringent than it was, or than what it is now. So it was an email that came through. I thought it was a good idea to at least talk about it, bring it up, and we'll go forward with it. Because if you feel good about yourself, you're going to learn. It's like the whole thing with free lunches for everybody. If everybody's fed and everybody feels good about themselves, then you can learn. Then you can learn. So maybe the next thing we need to tackle is the way people dress and
Removing distractions.
the distractions. Especially now, since we do have the Chromebooks and some kids have laptops, and the cell phone, to me, at that point, is not that big a deal that you need to do research and that type of thing.
And if you can use it in the passing times, like, if your mom texts you, like, I don't know, go to your aunt's house after school instead of my house, like, it's okay if you get that text message in 30 minutes rather than right then.
Take the bus home. And so, yes, they'll get the message at some point. It's just they don't need to get it within seconds of it being sent.
Since we're on the topic of the handbook, is it okay if I address something that happened before with this paper that was distributed to us and after it was examined, like most of it was not correct?
Well, that was a few meetings ago.
Yeah, a few meetings ago, a document was passed out to
Okay.
everybody that said stuff about the attendance policy for athletes. And I found most of it was wrong.
Because I think that was supposed to be the basis of the athletic handbook.
Right. So it says, it's according to the document that was given to us, the handbook states that attendance on the day of the event is required to participate. It doesn't say that. It talks about dances. Like, if you're not at school the day of a dance, you can't come to the dance. But it does not talk about sporting events or debates or any other school function. It basically just talks about dances. So, like, if a volleyball player is not in school, but then, upon more research, I found that there is a Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, MIAA, and they have attendance policy that says, quote, the student has to be in school for the majority of the day. The hours they give were between like 10 and 2. So that policy does exist. It's just not reflected in our specific policy, nor is it being enforced.
So that would definitely need to be in the handbook. Definitely need to be in the athletic handbook. If that's,
Are those staying two separate documents, or are we merging? I mean, I don't care.
We could merge it in the sense that create a separate section. Say you have, I believe what they were talking about was having SMK, middle school, high school, and then right now the athletic piece is
Mostly
3-4
middle
sentences, a quarter of a page, if that.
Yeah.
I think the idea was to put everything together, and maybe instead of a separate book, is to create it as, say, the fourth section of a handbook. So that way, everything is there. You want
Yeah.
to know about, concussion and this and that, and the websites. You want to know about, even if it repeats, the fact that it's repeated up top and on that section. It also repeats the fact that, you can't be absent, and also talking about grades, a repeat, so
Right.
that parents can go to one section and they can see, okay, for athletics, this is everything that is part of the deal in order to play.
And it just holds people accountable, because if the soccer player is allowed to play, but the golfer is not allowed to play, like, that's not okay.
Because each one has different standards.
Yeah,
It's
we have
almost
to
like
have
we're
the
getting to,
same
like,
standards
depending on the
across.
coach, one might be more tolerant than the other on what goes on. So if we're going to do it, then let's just make it uniform for everybody.
And I'm not talking about you had a dentist appointment and you got to school at 9:30. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you showed up to school at 2 o'clock to say, hey, I'm here. I'm
get
going to
the
go
bus.
play in my softball game. Like, that's not acceptable. And I guess, I don't know if the coach is responsible for checking attendance for that day, or if they even have access to attendance if they're not a teacher in the school. I don't know the logistics of it. All I know is that it's our job to make sure that the policy is clearly stated, so that if someone comes to me and says, hey, this coach says my kid can't play, this isn't fair,
But if it's in black and white,
then we say, yes, it is fair.
No, I know they do for football. I'm not sure about other sports. Checking up on kids and their grades and everything. I don't know if they still do that.
Check on my daughter's
They do.
grades.
They still do for everything?
All
Okay,
of the coaches that I know of do.
okay.
As long as it's every coach, because it can't be 90% of the coaches.
Right.
It has to be all the coaches.
Any other questions or comments?
So you want to do a hearing on July 23rd? Is that our next meeting?
Yes,
Yes.
where we will talk about cell phones and dress codes.
Sure.
Tell your friends, everyone. It'll be a party.
Start it earlier, or is this going to be lengthy where you want to start it at an earlier time, or?
I don't think we'll have a lot on the agenda,
Okay.
which, thinking about
I
earlier,
just don't know how many people will have something to say. Seems like important conversations.
It is.
Maybe multiple people. I just didn't know if you wanted to do it earlier.
we could start it earlier.
To give people an opportunity.
Worst case, we get out earlier.
Yeah, worst case.
Worst case.
Worst case. So maybe at 5:30 instead of 6:30?
5:30, we could do that.
Good idea.
We could actually do the approval of the warrants and payroll and then go right to that.
Sure.
And that way, we allow plenty of time.
Are you going to do it in here, or are you going to do it like in the auditorium?
We'll do it in here.
How many people do you think will come?
It's a good question.
It's two pretty controversial conversations, different subject matter.
Is there air conditioning in the auditorium? Darn it.
I think they have fans that blow warm air.
Ooh,
So
nice.
there's a little air circulation.
At least this wasn't next week. It's going to be 95 at this time next week, so
I know.
it could be worse. All right.
You know what we could do is, as far as the location, we can almost wait until the week before we post it. Depending on what we get for feedback with emails and stuff, we can probably gauge how well it'll be attended, which, considering the subject, probably will be very well attended, but we can always make that change
Yeah.
a week before and let Mike know. Civics is probably a 2-second conversation I threw on here. And maybe that's something we need to get updated from the principals, and as far as what do we offer for civics, K through 12? What do we cover, and what do we need to improve upon? Do we ever actually talk about the form of government and the different parts and voting and different things, and at what grade level do we start, and what grade level do we go up to? And
So I can tell you that there are Massachusetts state standards for social studies / civics. I also know that there's an MCAS at some point. If somebody could help me out, what grade do we take the civics MCAS? Eighth grade.
Eighth grade civics.
Yeah, and then not again, right? Just eighth grade. Right. So there are Massachusetts state standards. I can tell you, as an elementary school teacher, social studies is the first thing to get cut on a busy day. Like, it's just a fact. It used to be science was lumped in there too, but now the focus has really shifted to science. So if there's an assembly that day, or if the kids have earned extra recess because of points or whatever, like, social studies is the thing getting cut in an elementary school. And it's nobody's fault, it's just, that's what gets cut. I have no business speaking to what is being taught in a middle school or a high school as far as, I can tell you there are state standards that need to be taught. I don't know to what degree this particular school hits that. I don't know if there's a department head for social studies or if it's lumped in with the humanities.
Oh, he's back there.
Oh,
Perfect.
Are you the guy?
Yeah.
Do you mind if he
no,
fills
but
us in?
you got to come to the mic. If you're going to answer questions, you got to come to the mic. That way,
Mr. Blaze.
Stan doesn't harass us. he can get it out to everybody.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Mr.
No, it's all right. I saw I was on here. That's part of the reason why I came here. All right, so Wayne Blaze. So yeah, we do teach government and civics. Mr. Van Tangley is the teacher. And it's offered on a yearly basis. It is, it's offered, it's not required.
And any grade can sign up? Is it for 9 through 12? Is it for 7 and 8?
I would say it's usually, I think we would like to see it more on the higher end, but I think if we need to put it this way, if it comes down to are we going to offer it or are we not going to offer it, 9 through 12 is acceptable. But because we have to have there's the US 1 requirement, US 2 requirement first. And so then I think that sort of takes priority. And so then there's that. It's tough because the history department is sort of between a rock and a hard place. We have 2 teachers in the high school, and we have US 1, US 2 that we have to meet. Up until a year ago, there was no world history being offered. It was on the books, but it wasn't really offered.
Okay.
Because there's only 2 teachers.
And world history is now being taught?
It was, there was a class this year, but then we also have psychology, sociology, government and civics.
So it's lumped in with like social sciences?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's tough with just the 2 teachers, so.
So I don't know if you can speak to this because I don't know if you can speak to this or not, but is there a general sense of how prepared our students are for that 8th grade civics MCAS? I'm sorry?
They take civics in 8th grade.
Yeah, 8th grade is, they take Massachusetts, so the class is built around Massachusetts government and civics. They are taught basically what amounts to early it's sort of US 1 on some level. It's US government and civics, Massachusetts. So when you talk Massachusetts history, let's be honest, it's US history.
Well, that's a 3rd grade standard. The Massachusetts is a 3rd grade standard. And then...
But the frameworks have changed. So when the frameworks changed 5 years ago or so, 8th grade changed from what was basically what amounted to World History 1, and it changed to Massachusetts history and U.S. history, what basically was like a U.S. history 1A. So
Okay.
it's it's like a it's an introductory level to, they get the civics, and then they also receive this sort of introduction. Like, so when I teach US 1, for instance, a lot of what I talk about in US 1, they're like, oh yeah, well, Mr. G talked about that.
Good.
Or Mr. G mentioned that. Or yeah, I heard that from Mr. G.
Okay.
So
I mean this in the most respectful way, because I know the teachers are doing everything they can. Is this 8th grade civics class kind of like a crash course before this MCAS, kind of like a cram session right before you take an exam? Because if in the elementary school they haven't been primed,
yeah. And
then
that
they're
is
showing
an
up.
issue.
Then they're showing up to an 8th grade civics class without having learned Massachusetts history and the Mayflower and all that in 3rd grade, and U.S. geography in 4th grade, and the precursors to the Revolutionary War in 5th grade. Then they're showing up in 8th grade and they're like, all right, everybody knows all this other stuff, let's learn this. And they're like, whoa, pump the brakes. I don't know any of that.
Yeah, I know in the past, I can't speak to what happens now in the other 2 buildings, but I know in the past it was science and history were, I think, like in every other day topic.
Yeah.
Where science would be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday was history.
Yeah, so to fill in anybody that doesn't know, science and social studies, so like in an elementary school, I'm going to speak what I know. When the block schedule's out, there's like the ELA block, the math block, then there's lunch and recess in there, and then there's a science and social studies block, and it's usually a 30 to 40 minute block where teachers are supposed to alternate. You can do it kind of any way. You could do days of the week, you could do a whole week of science and a whole week of social studies, you could do a whole unit of science and then a whole unit of social studies. It completely depends on what your principal and you and the teachers decide. So you're absolutely right that science and social studies are kind of sharing time. And as I stated before, because the shift has moved towards science, social studies is getting
Yeah, it's-
shafted more and more.
Yeah, we get
I
pushed
say
sort of to
shafted?
I think so.
Discounted,
pushed to the back burner,
yes.
or onto the back porch, away from the back burner.
Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah, I would say, yeah, absolutely. The civics it's been an issue. We, Mr. V and I have fought for years just to get civics offered, just to have it on the table and to have the class offered. So the fact that it's offered now is huge. And, that was something that we fought for years with previous administrations, previous
And when you
principals.
say fought, are you fighting for teachers? Are you fighting for classroom space? Are you fighting for?
It would be, basically what it would be is, you need to sell your class.
To get kids to sign up?
To get kids to sign up for it, and it would be like, well, 5 kids signed up, it's not enough, we can't offer the class. You need to sell your class. And then there was one year famously where we all went to the auditorium where each department sold their class, and we were never asked to come forward to sell our class.
Gotcha.
And it was like, all right, everybody, go ahead back to your classes. And we were like, but we,
Okay.
yeah. So it's, again, back burner.
I have one more mildly ignorant question. Does this stuff show up on college preparation tests, like what do you guys take out here? The ACT?
The SATs.
SATs.
Yeah.
I never took the SATs because
I
it was
did
different when
neither.
you
I
taught
went in the
them.
military.
Anybody?
So-
SATs? No? Nobody knows?
A long time ago.
There's no social studies section in the SATs? Okay.
But but it is an issue, and we've sort of, now that it's there, and with the new textbooks that we received a couple of years ago, and so we have new materials and
Okay.
for history and for government and civics and psychology and sociology. So it's,
Okay, so just to recap, we are offering a world history class.
yes.
We are
New books for
offering
that too.
US 1,
Yes,
US 2,
yes,
and government and civics. Those are 4 classes we offer,
yes,
and they're offered 9 through 12,
yes.
but they are not required.
US 1, US 2 are.
Are required.
They're required. You need them to graduate.
And those are taught by 1 teacher, 2 teachers?
Either of the 2 of us.
Okay. And then are there 2 other teachers that teach government and civics or world history? It's just the 2 of you?
Just the 2 of us.
Got it.
Just the 2 of us.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's psych and soc as well that
Yes.
we offer on a sort of rotational basis.
Got it.
I'm the psychology teacher. He's the sociology teacher.
Oh, it's you 2 still?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. Yes. We're almost like a one-man
Just gonna
band.
ask that question.
So yeah, it's
I hope you get along.
we do. Thankfully, we do.
All
Yes.
right. Thank you for offering your
Yes.
Yes, thank you guys for
knowledge.
this.
So now that civics requirement is only 2 years old. It just started 2 years ago. That civics MCAS requirement.
Right, I knew it was fairly new.
It's brand new.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I'm just
comments?
curious how this compares to other schools, because I know that we have a school choice problem where people are leaving our school, and I don't know if this plays some role in that, because if competing schools, if you will, are offering, because poli-sci is a big major, like people are poli-sci majors, and they want a high school that offers this stuff. So if kids are leaving to go somewhere else, I don't know if other schools offer it, but if they do, then we are putting ourselves behind the 8 ball on that.
And I believe someone like Jan would be able to research that and give us an answer.
Great.
We'll ask the question.
So I guess we need to know if Palmer offers it, if Pathfinder offers it. I don't know who else we lose students to. Quabbin? Belchertown?
I believe Quabbin also offers ROTC as well, too. Yeah.
We good? Okay. Old unfinished business. Vote on the policy changes. Last 2 meetings, we've discussed the changes, and tonight, that's all we need to do is vote on the 2 policy changes. Oh, not the 2, the 4 policy changes. Any questions or comments?
Where are we on that?
I don't think it's in there, but it was procurement,
Oh.
it was
I
budgetary
thought it was.
transfer.
Oh, no, yes, I got that.
Okay.
I'm ready. That was last time.
Are we good?
It's in our packet, or are you saying from last?
It was from last week. It was from last
Last
meeting.
meeting.
He passed it out.
Yeah, go.
It's where it changes the wording from employees to, from teachers to employees.
And just a few other board changes.
Yeah. Do you need a motion?
We need a motion.
Do you want them all as a package deal?
Just let know what they are.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I remember from last time, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but,
Fundamental.
we'll make the motion based on changing file number such and such, such and such, such and such. So,
Oh, like-
because there's 4 different
like
files.
1A?
4 different policies.
are you talking about like 1A?
No,
No.
No, so IJNDD.
that's how it's identified.
So I'd make the motion, or I'd motion to.
Okay, why don't you make the
Yeah.
motion and I'll second it?
So I'll make the motion to accept the policy on social media, IJNDD, staff ethics and conflict of interest, GBEA, budgetary transfer authority, DBJ, and procurement requirements, DJE, as amended and presented.
I second that motion.
Any questions, any discussion? All right, all in favor, Aaron,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
I for myself, Mike, Mel.
Aye.
That's what I was right. Yeah, it was just wording changes.
Yeah.
We probably don't have a fireworks update, but I did talk to Stu today, and they're still looking for, they still haven't gotten the insurance, so I reminded him the insurance from the town needs to be had. And also reminded him about the safety and aspects from the police and the fire department as far as parking, who's going to handle what, and everything else. That was supposed to be coming to us at some point, so I just reminded him of those.
Was that on August 9th? I think I put it in my
Yes.
calendar wrong.
Yes, August 9th, and I guess the rain date is the 10th.
All right, I'm going to put that in right now.
Not on here, but we do have a update on the banner program from Mr. Bateman.
Good evening. I've reached out actually to 3 different vendors. I've only gotten information back from 2 of the vendors. So as soon as I get that 3rd vendor, I will put together all of the information, and I'll push it to the school committee. I have a copy of the current policy program document. I'll also send that along with my recommended changes so that you can take a look at and do whatever you want to do with it. I will just present you information, and then you figure out how you want to deal with that. I would expect to have that to you probably by next week. So if it's acceptable, I can send it, Mr. Winslow, to each of the members, or I can send it to you for distribution.
Nope, just send it to everybody.
Okay.
That's easier.
Okay. Then probably by this time next week, you should have something from me.
Great.
All right?
Thank you, Mr. Beeman.
You're welcome.
Thank you for doing that.
Thanks.
I think that's been a long time since
Long
we
time
looked at
coming.
that. So. Comments and concerns of citizens. Before we start that, I would just like to do some reminders to encourage all speakers to be present, to present their remarks in a respectful manner. We're still doing 3 minutes, 15 minutes total. The topics of discussion should be limited to those within the school committee scope of authority. The authority of the school committee primarily concerns the review and approval of the budget of the district's public schools, performance of the superintendent, and educational goals and policies of the district's public schools. Comments and complaints regarding school personnel or students are generally prohibited unless the comments and complaints concern matters within the scope of the school committee. Lately, we are including, especially when it comes to students, personal information, names, the teacher, the class, I mean, the class they're in, grade 4. And if someone needs to make a comment or concern about, say, special education, it should be more general in the sense of at SMK, and not identify that it's Mrs. Smith, grade 4. Oh, by the way, they sit by the window and they name the kid's name. Because we're really getting into too much of personal information and violating not policies, but violating their personal rights. And I don't think, and the problem is it's televised. It's a public document, and but it's also televised. And if that goes out, or if anybody's filming, it goes out on the internet. And we all know if it's on Facebook, it's there forever. When it goes on the internet, it's there forever. So it's just, I'm just reiterating that so it can be a caution to people not to expose their kids to being out there and being a part of. Everybody has the right to complain, everybody has the right to concerns, but try not to, especially with minors, mention too much of their personal information, just to protect them and their families.
Well said.
I highlighted rather than read this 2 pages. Comments made during the public comment section of the meeting do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the school committee. So, are there any comments and concerns?
Hi, Allison Byron, resident, teacher, and parent, I guess. Just want to quickly say, if you're going to be talking about the cell phone policy, just something to add to that for the open forum is smartwatches, because we have had several times in SMK where we've had kindergartners, first graders call their parents in the middle of class on their smartwatch because they want to go home or they don't want to go talk to the principal. So, and also we've had parents call us saying, "Where's my child? Their watch is off." So just probably didn't think about that, but I would have never thought about that. And also with cell phone use, I don't see the issue that too much, but I know I have students that have them because they're allowed on the bus. So I don't know if that needs to be a discussion also, just food for thought. Also with the civics, I'm just going to say it again, I've said it many times, maybe an 8th grade DC trip would be a great way to bring in that civics. So any teachers or parents out there listening and you want to get on board, I just want to say that. Okay.
I believe the last time we went to that was before COVID.
It stopped and yeah.
Krista Bateman, I'm a resident of Ware, a parent. We're both here as parents. So you all know that I've had concerns for over a year about my children's education. My daughter lost a math teacher last school year. My son has not had a consistent English teacher this year. My son's ECO project was in jeopardy because of the superintendent. I've done special education for 24 years, and the things going on in this district were concerning. So I joined with a group of other concerned parents, and we followed protocol. We met with the superintendent. We asked questions of the town clerk to find out what actions we could take with the school committee. We came to the school committee because our children's needs were not being met and our concerns are not being corrected. So that kind of brings us up to April 2nd. After the school committee meeting, we noticed that I was speaking with a teacher in the parking lot. Mr. Swaby's car and the superintendent's car stayed for an hour after that meeting. At the very next school committee meeting on April 9th, the superintendent received 2 exemplaries versus 3 needs improvement in several categories. That was kind of the tipping point for me when I realized that Mr. Swaby was not impartial and our concerns as parents were not going to be remedied by following typical protocol. Knowing everything that has come to light with parents and teacher concerns this school year, when 2 people gave glowing recommendations for the superintendent, it was evident that the superintendent's evaluation was not impartial, but perhaps based on relationships that were formed. At the end of the day, I believe that Mr. Swaby had lost sight of our children, and so we looked for resources in that, in the form of a recall election. Our recall paperwork stated, this is a petition calling for the recall of Aaron Swaby, a member of the Ware School Committee, due to poor oversight of district issues, a continued disconnect from the needs and voices of the community, and subversive actions towards the school committee. It has been noted that Mr. Swaby leans favorably to decisions and statements of Superintendent Lovato, often giving unnecessary speaking time to Superintendent Lovato during meetings. Mr. Swaby also frequently discusses issues in a circular and confusing manner that muddies the purpose of the actual content he is addressing. Mr. Swaby has been partial to the superintendent. With regards to this, it should also be noted that Mr. Swaby on several occasions has had what appears to be extended private meetings after the adjournment of the school committee meetings with both Superintendent Lovato and Mrs. Slattery. This alone, to me, shows his partiality. Mr. Swaby has also often turned concerns from stakeholders into distasteful jokes during school committee meetings, often citing that people should, quote, grab their popcorn, end quote, or prepare, for another, quote, marathon meeting, end quote. With the future of our schools at stake, students, parents, taxpaying community members, and teachers deserve someone who is serving with their best interests. Keeping this in mind, this is the reason for a recall on Mr. Swaby. I will let you know that we had no less than 10 people reach out to ask for petitions once we received them from the town clerk that they could take around to their neighborhoods. We've been in every neighborhood and part of this town and spoken to many citizens. While we did not reach the crazy, we were supposed to get 1,214 petition signatures. That was the magic number required by an old recall law from the 1980s. We did get almost 400 signatures, which is double the state requirement, which is 150 signatures for a recall, which is what it was when we originally looked it up. If we had had just a week longer, and if our 2-week limit was not at the end of a school year and during graduation season when everyone is so busy, I have no doubt we would have made our goal. We know that your term is up in April and still thought it was imperative to try to do a recall. We're here to stand up for our students, all of our students, every child in this town, because they deserve that. I think it's important that our children see that there are protocols in place and that we need to follow the rules to maintain respect and decorum. I personally believe that you have used those rules to talk your way around finding solutions instead of being collaborative, helping, and listening. I think that you've completely lost focus of the purpose and responsibility of a school committee member.
Good evening, Jessica Rowan. On behalf of myself, many registered voters in the town of Ware. As Mrs. Bateman said, that we gathered signatures to put you on the ballot for a recall, Mr. Zawabi. The Massachusetts law is 150 signatures. Ware passed in 1986 saying that 15% of the registered voters need to sign these petitions to put you on the ballot for a recall. We did not receive enough. As Mrs. Bateman said, we gathered over 400 signatures. The town lawyer, Ware's town lawyer, got back to us, and they think is kind of ridiculous that Ware still is going by 1986 law. That is actually going to be changed because we haven't had a recall since then. So, we gathered this many signatures. I'm standing in front of you tonight, Aaron, asking you if you will resign. The townspeople have spoken. That's quite a bit of signatures that we got in a 14-day period that we had. There was graduations, there was, school just getting out. It wasn't the time, people were busy, my phone was ringing off the hook. I personally couldn't get to everybody that wanted to sign it myself, so I really feel that we could have made that 1,214 signatures, but we didn't. So I'm asking you tonight, Aaron, if you will please resign from the school committee, and the townspeople have spoken. So will you resign?
Are we answering questions here?
Aaron, this is comments and concerns. We usually don't answer questions, but I will defer to you if you want to respond, but you do not have to in this portion of the meeting. I'll leave it up to you.
No, I want to say that I kind of heard that there was that going on, and from the very beginning, I think the record will show that I've always been, it might appear to you that I'm being biased towards Dr. Lovato when he was here, but that was because there was already an agenda here and we had to follow proper protocol. So I think the record shows that I've been working towards that, and maybe people didn't like that. But I think if you had your votes there, then I would have followed the process. So I commend you for giving it a shot. And whether or not I'm going to resign based on that, if I was going to resign, it wouldn't be for those reasons. I know this is my last year, and my son has graduated. I put in a lot of time here. I think the nature of the school committee has significantly changed. I think, and that's fine. But I appreciate you coming forward to share that with me. I did do some research to see what the rules are and the laws are, and you didn't get your votes, so I guess it's something that I need to think about, but it was already in the works, and I appreciate you coming forward.
All right, I really hope that you really take it into consideration, because the townspeople have spoken. And I will tell you that the lawyer even thinks,
Well, yes, the townspeople
1,200
have
votes
spoken.
is a lot of, and it's registered voters. It's not just signatures to get you on the ballot. And I'll be honest with you, sitting here tonight and watching you guys just discuss what you just discussed, first of all, Mel, kudos to you that you care about our kids and you're moving forward and you're looking up information and you're giving input sitting here on the school committee. Thank you. Thank you for that. Mr. Zawabi, when they were talking about cell phone uses, that's all you did was sit there on your cell phone. How do you expect these kids in these schools, you come across and make a thing about cell phone use when you sit at every single meeting and you text? And I'm
You don't know
be
what
honest,
I'm doing with the cell phone. I mean, I actually wrote the policy letter on here because
nobody else uses cell phones.
What's that?
No one else picked up their cell phone this whole
So
meeting.
what? I think-
No
I
one
think-
else a lot of
I
times
think-
picks up their cell
Okay,
phones.
This is a perfect example of what
We're
I'm
not going to
talking
get into
So,
a banter,
well, I hope
please.
you think about
We're not in
it.
high school.
No, we're not going to banter,
No,
we're not
we're
going to
not,
argue.
and-
Thank you very much
Yeah, thank you.
for your concerns. Okay, moving on to communications. Nothing? Other business?
I did want to revisit the document that you read the last meeting.
AC.
the AC non-discrimination policy, including harassment and retaliation.
Yes.
So this is kind of a say it again for those in the back kind of situations. I know who needs to hear this message, but I can't say their names out loud. So for those of you that did not hear the document about harassment and retaliation, our school committee takes that seriously. So if you are targeting students or teachers, we will not tolerate that.
You want to read it again? The whole thing?
I don't-
Just paraphrase it. Just paraphrase it. That's
I mean, paraphrasing it is, we're committed to maintaining an educational work environment for all community members that is free from forms of discrimination, including harassment and retaliation. So, unfortunately, all I get are rumors, and I can't act on rumors. But it is my hope that moving forward, a very clear set of steps is laid out where people will feel emboldened to come forward and put their name on something and say, this is happening to me. Not, I heard this is happening to someone else, but this is happening to me. This is the date. This is what happened. And feel like something will be done about it. Because I understand that it's much more comfortable to say, I heard that this is happening, or a friend of mine said this happened. I understand that creates a very safe bubble around people, but unfortunately it also insulates the offender. So until we, as a committee and the administration of this district, step up and say, we will not tolerate this, then people are going to continue to say rumors and hearsay and all of that. But I hope that teachers, students, parents, people that feel they are being targeted, harassed, or retaliated against for speaking up, we can lay out a very clear process where they feel safe enough to come forward and say, this is happening, I am putting my name on this, that this happened, this is the date, this is the time, this is what happened, and know that we will show up for them. So for anyone that needs to hear this, please stop harassing teachers and students. That is it.
Stop harassing everybody.
Stop harassing people or retaliating against them.
It can be the custodian, it can be a teacher, it can be a parent, it can be a student, it can be a person that works in the lunchroom.
It could be anybody.
Anybody that's on this campus.
Be nice.
Administrator, it could be a principal, it could be anybody. And I think we need to repeat that message, and that message will get repeated for back to school. And I want it to be repeated to everybody. So every back to school meeting for the teachers and everybody, and when they get the students together, I think we need to emphasize that as well to everybody, so everybody's on the same page.
I just want to say one more thing, sorry. It is my understanding that people don't make formal complaints or grievances for two reasons. Either they don't know how, they don't know the process, or they know it's not going to matter. So if we can eliminate those two things and say, this is the process, and what you say will not be swept under the rug, it will not be put on a pile somewhere where people just ignore it, it will not be disappeared in order to protect someone. Like, it is my goal to make a specific process that is objective and safe and complete from beginning to end. The grievance is made, the complaint is made, and a resolution is reached, where either it is dismissed, saying, no, this didn't happen, or there are consequences for what happened. Sorry, you.
May I
Normally
speak?
comments and concerns.
Oh.
But.
May I?
What?
It's that I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 3 minutes, so I'm going to
Okay,
hold you to. At the end of the meeting, it's 3
I will
minutes.
hold it, I will hold on to it. I'm sure people
Yes,
don't want to
thank
stay
you.
here anyway. So I'm Amber Boucher, Union President. And while I appreciate, I really do, hearing the words coming from the committee, that feels 2 years too late. And I will say point blank, I have been written up. I have been investigated by the police. I've become very friendly with the police detective here in Ware. I have been personally threatened with lawsuits, and I have been called into police investigations as well as a Title VI complaint. So when you say to me that you are intolerant of that kind of behavior, pardon me if I have a hard time taking that at face value. And if I, as the union president, in my capacity, am being targeted in the way that I have been targeted in this district, and has been allowed, in my opinion, to occur specifically because of this school committee, then I have to say, how dare you say that to the employees of Ware? To the people who have truly believed that their jobs were being threatened, to people who feel as though they have been run out of this district, who have spent afternoons and days crying in my room over the past 2 years because they have been targeted by our superintendent. Now, I will also say that those people are afraid. They are afraid to come up and put their name on something. I, as union president, have some protection. And that's the only reason I am here. Aside from the fact that I have a lot of people here behind me who are here supporting the union. I do it for them. And although Mr. Lovato may see this as a personal issue, it has never been a personal issue on our end. On our end, we are looking for justice here. And we have been waiting for 2 years for that. We have requested meetings with the school committee. We have been repeatedly denied. I had a school committee member tell me that when we wrote our vote of no confidence, that when we said there was no white-lined paper in the district, but we had paid over $300,000 to Clark Consulting, that was an exaggeration. It is not. We still have no white-lined paper at the end in the district, or not in the district, in the high school, and we're at the end of the school year. Or pencils, for that matter. But heck, we're only an institute of education. So please forgive me when I say to you, it's very rich hearing that on my end. And I would say for the rest of the union members as well. And we have lost a lot of good staff because of it. And we will lose more. We just don't know who they are yet. But rest assured, those people will be gone. And Ware is going to have to build back. I am grateful for those of you who have been open-minded, who have listened, who have taken the time to truly hear our concerns. But here we are, 6 months later, and we still do not have a resolution. People will not wait for forever. And again, I agree. I wish it had happened, 2 years ago, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one more question. The investigation, I know a lot of people have reached out to me, and not that I like standing up here talking, but they don't like to come up themselves. Is the investigation going to be public? Because us taxpayers paid for that to be done. And there's a lot of teachers, there's a lot of parents out there that would love to know what's going on, and when it's done, would love to read it, like the special education audit. So us taxpayers paid for that to be done, and I'm hoping that that's going to be put out, and a lot of taxpayers also.
Good question. Short of anything being criminal, which we would not be privy to, that would have to go to the Attorney General's office, and we would not see any of that until, of course, the Attorney General would do anything. It is concluding, they are writing it up, and the intention is to put it forth. in a timely manner. We are working on some things to protect everybody. And whether you believe us or not, we are. We truly are trying to protect people, both former employees and present employees and everybody. This is, every day I learn. Every day I learn something. This is a process that is, if we were in Iowa or Utah maybe, it probably would be a lot simpler, but we're in Massachusetts. The laws, 1986. Some of the laws are 1820. We are moving forward. We will continue to move forward. We will not look back. We will not go back. There's an empty office. It's been painted. The first time I've been here that they ever painted an office when it got packed up. No one is moving to that building from other buildings. No one is moving from another office. But we will, when the time comes, be outlining a change. And it will change. And unfortunately, it took 2 years. And unfortunately, I don't think it's empty by saying that, and reading the policy twice, that you might say we've drawn a line in the sand, that from going forward, it won't be tolerated. There are some ideas being floated out, and we will be discussing those ideas of sharing the town's HR, so we have an impartial person that might be able to handle some of this stuff, so it's not in-house. But you also know dealing with the town and the selectmen is not always an easy process, but we're starting. We're starting anew tomorrow, and we are not going back. We're not going back, if there's any fears about that. And we will be in a much better place, hopefully very soon. But that's where we're headed. We are not going back to 2 years ago. We're not. We never will. We never will go back to 2 years ago. And we have to make some changes. And it's a learning process. None of us up here are perfect. And the how, when, where, and why is very important. It's very important rather than to listen to rumors. Last night I get a call from my neighbor who was in a restaurant and where, I won't mention it, and people were talking about a rumor, the big rumor of Saturday. And it's like, that's all he could say to me was, where did they get this? I don't know. Rumors take a life of their own, and I think we need to, and I hate to use this word, rumors are misinformation. And I know we've heard this word a lot, and I don't like it, but we need to just talk about facts and not talk about rumors and not breathe life into rumors. And I know Facebook is good for that. Don't know if anything made it onto Facebook lately, but we need to, and I know this is strange coming from us, or just me, it can be us, that we need to, whether we want to call it a ceasefire or something, we need to start working together, but start acting civilly towards each other. And in a short time, we will be moving on, and we will move on in a positive light, and we will get back to students. We'll get back to students. Have we lost some people? Absolutely. Have we lost some good people through retirement? Yeah, and that, unfortunately, we can't get them to go on forever, as much as we like to. So.
I completely respect what you're saying, and for all the teachers out there that are trying to decide whether they're going to stick this out or move on, it is my hope that you stick with us, because we can't afford to lose good teachers, and we have great teachers in this district that have been mistreated, for lack of a better term, and I hope to earn your trust and the trust of the teachers in this district, because obviously I'm new here, I'm doing the best I can. I kind of started a little bit behind the 8 ball, but I'm trying to move things forward, because, I mean, to say this district lost its way is an understatement, and it's not going to get better overnight, but the amount of emails that I take, the calls that I return, I mean, it's like another full-time job. I'm doing the best I can, and I just want everybody out there to hear that this is a new path. So please stay with us on it. Please. That's it.
That being said, make a motion to adjourn. I wanted to say convene. Sorry. Adjourn at 7:55 p.m. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie? Aye. Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Vote no.